Good day, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Diego, your international video producer here in Colombia, South America, formerly known as New Grenada. Now, you've been watching our videos, you've shown an interest in the moving to Colombia, to live in Colombia as an expat for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows. But this is a video a little bit about the history of Colombia. So it's always good to know about the history of the country that you plan on living in. It shows respect to the country, it shows respect to the Colombian government that you're interested in their nation. Now, Colombia used to be part of one great nation, one huge country, which included Venezuela, Ecuador, Panama, Colombia. It was one country, New Grenada. And Simon Bolivar, the conservative Republican military general, liberated these countries from Spanish rule and basically created South America. This great feat was accomplished at the Battle of Boyacá in 1819. This was a decisive battle that ensured the success of Simon Bolivar's campaign to liberate New Grenada from the Spanish rule. Simon José Antonio de la Santísima Trinidad Bolivar y Ponte Palacios y Blanco was born on the 24th of July, 1783, and died on the 17th of December, 1830. Simon Bolivar was a Venezuelan military and political leader who led what are currently the countries of Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Panama, Peru, and Bolivia to independence from the Spanish Empire. Simon Bolivar was known colloquially as El Liberador, or the Liberator of America. And the Battle of Boyacá is considered the beginning of independence of the north of South America, and is considered important because it led to the victories at the Battle of Carabobo in Venezuela, Pichincha in Ecuador, and Junín and Ayacucho in Peru. New Grenada acquired its definitive independence from the Spanish monarchy, although fighting with the royalist forces would continue for years into the future. Now, Brigadier General Francisco de Paula Santander, who was the Democrat in this group. Simon Bolivar was the Republican, Santander was the Liberal Democrat. And Brigadier General José Antonio Enzo Tegué led a combined Republican army of New Grenadians to defeat in 2 hours the Spanish royalist forces led by Spanish colonels José María Barello and Francisco Jiménez. So Simon Bolivar and Santander defeated the Spanish in 2 hours. Can you imagine that? This huge battle occurred 150 kilometers from Boyacá in the Andes Mountains, so it's not too far from here, in a place known as Casa de Teja, close to a bridge over the Titinos River and 3 roads which head into Salamanca, Motavita, and Tunja, an area which is now part of the Boyacá department. And Colombia is broken up into different departments, much like the United States is broken up into states. On the August 17th, 1819, after Simon Bolivar secured a narrow victory over the Battle of Vargas Swamp, both armies headed towards Bogotá, which was lightly defended. So Bogotá didn't have a very good defensive posture, and Simon Bolivar wanted to protect Bogotá from Spanish invaders. The capture of the capital in the hands of the Patriot Army would effectively cut off the advance of the Republican Army and give the strategic initiative to its opponents. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, the Spanish forces, or the New Grenadians, Venezuelan loyalist soldiers, so Venezuela was basically supporting the Spanish, departed from Montevita towards Casa de Taja, which was only a more short distance, 25 kilometers. And the Spanish completed this hike in 7 hours and 30 minutes. So they were walking at about 18 minutes per kilometer. At 10 o'clock in the morning, General Santander's forces departed Tunja towards Casa de Piedra and the road to Bogotá. The Patriot forces completed this 16-kilometer trek in 4 hours. So they were marching at 15 minutes per kilometer. So they were moving a little bit quicker than the Spanish. These Republican forces split into two groups. The vanguard reached the Casa de Taja at 1:30 p.m., while the rear guard stopped about 1.5 kilometers behind. They wanted to get some rest. Descansa, poco descansa. And shortly before 2 p.m., Captain Andres Ibarra and his forces spotted Casa de Taja and the vanguard of the Republican army. The Spaniards spotted him too, so those dastardly Spaniards spotted him too, and Colonel Sebastian Diaz, chief of the vanguard of the Spanish army, ordered to follow and engage what he believed was only a small observation force. So the Spanish didn't realize just how big Santander and Simon Bolivar's military forces were. They returned, and General Santander ordered Lieutenant Colonel Paris to attack the Spanish royalist forces. Hoo-yah! The Spanish vanguard crossed a strategic bridge over the Titinos River and took attack positions there. Meanwhile, the force of the Patriot Army under Santander had reached the Casa de Piedra. So Brigadier General Santander was now squaring off with the Spanish military. The Spanish rearguard was still several kilometers behind, so General Azotequier ordered to block the way between the vanguard and the rearguard of the Spanish forces. The rearguard, outnumbered, retreated to a small hill close to Casa de Piedra. Simon Bolivar's forces arrived from Paipa after the Battle of Vargas Swamp. So these guys were still battle hungry, battle ready. They had just been tested at the Battle of Vargas Swamp, so they were ready for another battle. The number of troops of the Revolutionary Army was around 2,850 to 2,900. This is a pretty good force, and this is according to estimates from historians today. He ordered a flank attack on the Spanish rearguard, Simon Bolivar did. Battalions Barcelona and Bravos de Paez were to attack on the right side, while the Legion Britannica and Rifles Battalion attacked on the left. Now, there were British forces here that were helping the Colombian Simon Bolivar Santander forces. The British Legion were a special forces squad composed of British and Irish people, which aided the Revolutionary Army in certain key battles for independence in South American countries. So the United States kicked the British butt, and kicked the British out of the United States in North America, but the British helped the Colombians liberate themselves from Spain in South America. So the enemy, the Spanish, assumed battle positions. In the center were 3 artillery pieces, surrounded by Royal Battalions 12 and 22, and on the wings cavalry units. Arthur Sandys, commander of the Rifles Battalion, charges the Royalist artillery. So outnumbered, these guys were outnumbered. The Spanish rearguard began to retreat. The Spanish began to retreat without any clear direction. So basically, they were copying the French. Just a joke. Theodore Bolivar ordered Lancers units to attack the center of the Royalist infantry, while a full cavalry squadron ran away from the battle via the road towards Samaca. Barreo attempted to break the blockage of the Patriot forces and rendezvous with the Spanish vanguard, but heavy enemy fire forced him and his forces to surrender. Oh, I give up. So the Spanish surrendered. Meanwhile, 1.5 kilometers behind Casa de Piedra, the Patriot vanguard managed to ford the river and was approaching the rear of the Royalist vanguard force. Once it reached them, the vanguard forces engaged in battle, while the rearguard attempted to cross the river by force using bayonets. So we're talking hand to hand here with bayonets. The Spanish forces fled. Ooh, they run away, leaving the bridge. Okay, now, so while the Spanish ran away, and guess what? They left their leader on the bridge, Colonel Juan Tierra. They abandoned their colonel. As the assembly of enemy prisoners began, the battle was over in 2 hours, and the Spanish left their top guy behind on the bridge, who was captured by the Simon Bolivar Santander forces at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At least 1,600 troops and several of the Spanish commanders, including Barrero himself, were captured at the end of the battle. So this small group of people who wanted freedom from Spain defeated the Spanish army in 2 hours and took 1,600 prisoners. New Granada's liberation was assured by this victory, which left the road to Bogota and the city itself practically undefended as the survivors headed towards other locations. So here I am in Bogota, and just up the road this massive battle took place, which basically freed this country from Spanish rule. After the battle, Santander and Anzoátegui were promoted to divisional general. Yeah, they should be. They deserved the promotion. On the orders of Santander, Colonel Barrero, and 38 more. Now, Colonel Barrero was the leader of the Spanish group, the Spanish army. General Santander ordered Colonel Barrero of the Spanish army executed, along with 38 more of his Spanish military folks. So these people were executed right here in Bogota on October 11th, 1819, because of the decree of war to death. So in other words, if you're going to fight these people, we're going to capture you, and if you surrender and you quit and you're a quitter, we're going to execute you. Now the bridge in question is El Puente de Boyacá. It's no longer used, but it's maintained as a symbol of the independence of South America. So a 2-hour battle, ladies and gentlemen, in Boyacá, just north of here in Bogota, liberated not only Colombia, it liberated Colombia, Peru, Panama, Ecuador, Venezuela, all these different countries. Totally liberated them. And Simon Bolivar, as just deserved, gets all the credit for this military success. I hope you enjoyed this little video on the Battle of Boyacá, the most important battle in Colombian history. I will see you in Colombia. Hope to see you in Bogota. And thanks for watching.